Someone didn't learn that lesson from spring, huh?
Learn something from you.
You're not the new king, what are you saying? There's no crown for losing in planes. A ticket to Iceland didn't make you the best, just less of a failure than all the rest. Samurai at MSI, yo, we took the trophy. Gold standard for the champ, supposed to be peak league ain't EU.
Peak League is G2.
This ain't best of one, boy. Hold that disrespect. Wreck with best of fives, yeah, we're gonna break your neck. Looking hella good, teams playing no PETA. Beat so bad you think I'm a cheetah. Comparing our jungles like damn son. Don't call it a gap, it's a canyon. No map packs, we're just stacked. Jaeger's pathing, it's just cracked. Flash in the pan, you understand. You had your shot, never get it again. Carzzy is bad, Kaiser is worse. Armament is dying, go get the nurse. Or even better, get humanoids hurt. Repeating some lines you aren't worth a new verse.
It's a bad time, you resign, cries mine in the bloodline. I'm an apex feline, you're on the decline. Got no rhyme, lost your spine, nothing but a mid at a receding hairline. You are a joke, cannot a smite. You're just a dog that's a bark and no bite. I am the best, you are the clown. Show some respect and bad out of the crown. They call him reckless, but he should rename the KDA. Our boy Carzzy always blowing up like Michael Bay. Stay in lane and your screen will soon be going grey. You're nothing but old news, so get out of my way. Used to be the best in every role and now you're slipping. Gonna need to take a look across the pond for positions. You can get a couple million but we'll always think you're free. You're so good at taking L's you could manage CLG.
You think you want this fight, but you really don't. Last chance, better call your mama, cause you're gonna get hit by Saitama. One punch, 3-0, now I come up for a trophy like Repo. Win one, you got an ego, but beating Rogue, that's a free throw. That's a weak joke, he got no hope. Full strength, G2 better not choke. Top lane is running it, running from lane. Know that he done it, too deep on side, know that we stunning him. Counting the throws, they keep on coming in. Is he Carzzy or crazy? Mostly looks lazy, mostly just instant, he'll never phase me. Oh, you're a rookie, he lacks a finesse. Watching him play is just Spain without S. Kaza can't keep up, you know what the truth is. Sport is OP, but that boy is useless. Poor little Merrick, Lord knows he tries, but in the end, humanoid dies. SKT Season 6, no impact. Caps Medjai's every game, yeah we get stacks. Try trading in lane, that's a quick back. Trash talking on our name, you gon' eat that. This ain't a rivalry, this is a charity. More like a show match with so much disparity. Think you're a challenge for a god, we'll reverse it. You're just a dog, better bark when this first hit.
Hate the way you see when looking down at me. Your inability to recognize me as a real rivalry. Just ego and fame, frustrating. Your is debating. There should be no debating. I'll be coming for the final lap battle. It's a cycle, always fire, but the title will be mine. You can cry, don't be shy, I wanna retry. Used to die, get the black tie, say goodbye. This is it, I'm Mr. Nice Guy. I saw you getting hyphy when Reckless joined the team. Instead, you lost your trophy and you just became a meme. I wonder if one is done with this rap thunder. A power one trait that makes nothing but blunders. He's a perfect player to feel the hung of the TCO check when we bring in the thunder. Hidden in the shroud, making round doesn't make a sound. Knife to the throat, just a joke. Caligo Gurk, Caligo to work. Humanoid about to put caps in the dirt. Bald head, wrist weak, bad eyes, you've peaked. Sad times, meta slave, climbing your grave. Truth is you're irrelevant, completely devoid of elegance. Your experiments to replace perks have only left you with this excrement. It's evident the sentiment has shifted to our development. I am the king, follow my ping, be grateful that I'm benevolent. I'm done with you, you're brainless. I'm on the road to greatness. You claim you're good, outrageous. I promise this won't be painless.
Dude, you can't insult Reckless like that.
But you so mean to humanoids.
He's beautiful. He's not used to being insulted.
All beautiful now?
Definitely not what I said.
Welcome back, everyone, to Berlin, Germany and the LEC Summer Playoffs. Rogue, they became the first team in round 2, and today the Mad Lions and G2 Esports fight for the right to challenge them and a spot at Worlds 2021. Now, the two rivals, they've had some epic battles in the past, and with the Mad Lions taking over the throne in spring, the stage is set for today's grudge match. They're touching some grass before, that's always good. But we're at the desk here to cover Mad Lions versus G2. I'm Sjokz, joined by Trouble and a longtime LEC coach, Dylan Falco. Hi, Dylan. Awesome to see you.
Hey.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm guessing we're going to get some super deep pick and ban / coach related insight today from you.
Yeah, I feel like the drafts yesterday in particular were very, very interesting, and I'm interested to see the different looks and styles we'll see out of the draft today as well.
Yeah, the different approach. Trouble, you casted 5 games. I know it was probably very tiring. Are we getting 5 games today as well?
I really hope so. I think if you're asking any fan, it's mad, it's G2, they're bloodthirsty, they're explosive. Hell yeah, we want 5 games.
I completely agree. Now, yesterday we, of course, saw it, and Rogue became the first team to lock a spot at Worlds, but their series versus Misfits perhaps got a bit too close for comfort. 5 games, Dylan. What did you think in the end it came down to? Yes, of course, a pentakill. Never always helps, of course, but...
So going to this series, I thought it would be extremely Rogue favored, and I think that's what everybody thought. But I was very surprised with how close and how competitive the series was. I feel like Rogue's bot lane was sort of quietly winning the entire series, whereas most of the action itself was focused around mid and top. There was a lot of assassin picks, there was a lot of fighting, and honestly, until this pentakill you see here, at the very end of the series, it was anybody's game.
Definitely was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 2 major keys to take away from that series would be 1, Rogue are definitely not infallible. We've heard from a lot of teams they would rather avoid playing Rogue, especially in the best-of series, just because of how clean, macro-oriented the team is. But definitely there were some mistakes that were easily and fast punished by Misfits. And the second thing is, if the only thing that takes to beat Misfits in the best-of series is for one player to 1v9 and get a pentakill in one game, I think Misfits need to be completely feared moving into the lower bracket.
I completely agree. Let's pull up the bracket. Yeah, Dylan, Misfits will now face the winner of Fnatic versus Vitality, and then after the winner of that series will face G2 or MAD. Do you think Misfits has what it takes to make the lower bracket run?
I think if Misfits comes into the next series against either Vitality or Fnatic, playing the way they played yesterday, I think they will have a very good chance, and the games will be very competitive. I think all 3 of the teams in the lower bracket, all have a chance of winning, and I think it's a very, very deadly place to be right now.
They, of course, are still thinking about getting back to that final, but also qualifying for Worlds. Now they have to win 2 series. On the topic of Rogue, that did qualify for Worlds, are you doubting them a bit more because of that performance yesterday in terms of this team we're now sending to the World Championship as European rep?
I don't know if I'm doubting them because I think Inspired went above and beyond for his team, and I think that a class of like an inspired class jungler going into the team, I think the team can follow his lead and step up, especially when it comes to a world stage. So I think if anything, Rogue will definitely step up because of Inspired and because he had to push above and beyond.
We'll see what happens with Rogue at Worlds, and tomorrow everything is of course on the line for Fnatic and Vitality as they fight to stay alive in the LEC Summer Playoffs. Dylan, we've got the storyline of dreams with Selfmade versus Bwipo. What do you think of this matchup?
This is like one of my favorite matchups ever we've had in playoffs. Not only is it Selfmade playing against his, I guess, replacement Bwipo, but I think like a good chunk of the Vitality roster could have ended up on Fnatic this year. So it's this entire roster's chance to sit there and say, you guys made a mistake. We are the better players, and we're going to take this and try and make Worlds.
This could be the first World since 2016 where Fnatic isn't in attendance. What do you think about, the stylistic matchup between 2 teams that I think can be quite coin flippy at times?
Coin flippy, explosive, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see it from like a fan sentiment, it's like they're longing for that Fnatic World Championship, right? They've seen it all in Europe. They've won European trophies. They've gone to the world stage. They've gone to the World's finals. That one thing that remains is that international title. And especially with like all these players that they keep on changing first, they had like Reckless, they put him on a throne. Now they have Adam in, he's young, he's fired up. Now they put him on a throne. So you see that Fnatic want to consistently keep involving, and what is missing is that trophy of Worlds.
Of Worlds, yeah. I mean, for a lot of teams, but we know how difficult that can be. So maybe let's take a look at what the teams could be doing today in terms of the draft. We're going to pull up some of the key drafts from yesterday and see how everything could be adapted into today. Dylan, we have here Varus, Ashe, and LeBlanc. What was most striking about the bot lane evolution in draft for you yesterday?
So I think yesterday, Misfits came in with a very concrete plan, and one that I actually thought was quite good. They banned out Kalista and Varus, which were 2 of the main Hans Sama champions that they use to gain the push bot lane, to gain pressure, and to use that to kind of cleanly snowball the game. And in a combination of these 2 bans, they were sniping Ashe very, very early in the draft. And Ashe is a pick that, when blinded with these bans, will get push and pressure in basically any matchup. So this was kind of like a neutralized draft, and I think, honestly, it was a good plan. I think later in the series, we saw some Ashe Varus matchups, some Varus blinds. I think these will still be like commonly blinded champions. But I do think today's series, with Mad Lions and G2 facing each other, both of these ADCs have different champion pools than what we saw yesterday. So I think there is a chance, although it might be trades again, there's a chance we can see a lot more of Reckless's comfort picks, champs such as Tristana, champs such as Jhin, champs such as even Xayah. And Carzzy is somebody that I feel like this guy just plays what he wants. This guy played Ziggs in the regular season as well, and he always comes in with a lot of different picks.
And there's also some infamous karmas that have come out, and now especially with the addition of like the Syndra, the Ziggs in the bot lane. I think recently there was like a tweet from Reckless as well. He's like, yeah, we're ready to play the Syndra bot lane. It was like a history of like 15 games lost on Syndra or something like this.
Great.
Maybe that's a bait, I don't know.
That's what you want. In any case, we see LeBlanc here as well. Dylan, do you think there's going to be as big of a priority on LeBlanc, and why in this series today?
Okay, so LeBlanc, for the last 2 patches of competitive play, has been the most commonly picked mid laner, and I think also the most commonly blind picked champion. Yesterday, this champ was especially strong, I think, for a couple of different reasons. First of all, there were Xin, Zhao, and Viego trades in the jungle every game. LeBlanc is very strong when paired with these strong AD junglers, and they offer a lot of like kill threat. Oh my god. They offer a lot of kill threat and a lot of ability to skirmish and win mid 2v2. However, it's not going to be as easy, because yesterday they were playing against 2 players that they were playing Orianna versus LeBlanc as a counter. They played Lulu. I think Viteo played Zoe one time, which I think are all okay matchups, but I think not as good. And if you can see here, I actually have G2's draft from their final game of the split versus XL, where I think there was more of a, I would say, irresponsible, or I guess illegal LeBlanc pick, where they just blinded 1-2. And here you see a team like G2 is able to just instantly respond by locking in Lee Sin LeBlanc, a very strong mid-jungle combo that historically has been very good against LeBlanc. And in this game, I think, although he messed up a bit in lane, Lissandra was very, very strong. So it kind of has this dynamic where if one team picks mid 2-3, you can match on 3, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with everything. I think both Mad and G2 have the picks to counter or neutralize a LeBlanc pick, but my eyes fall straight into Caps, and I'm like, Caps on LeBlanc can influence the map so heavily. He doesn't have to sit in lane. The first thing that comes to mind is something like his TF. We saw a lot of roaming yesterday in the series from the LeBlanc. I feel like such an influential pick in the hands of a guy like this can completely break open the map for G2.
And I'm really hoping that with the practice under their belt from the sides of G2 and Mad, we'll see a different look. We also have the positional coach coming in for the top lane for Mad specifically. So is your anticipation, maybe not in the first game, but if this gets pushed to 4-5 games, that will go a bit deeper in those pools?
I think for mid especially, both of these players play a multitude of different champions and will probably be willing to pick actual more unconventional counter picks if it is necessary. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Any prediction for the spiciest pick possible?
The spiciest pick
Trundle.
possible. Trundle is not as spicy, even though Zanzara would like to say that. I don't know. Maybe some Shyvana. I saw she was buffed a little bit in the patch in 11-15. That's just a personal preference. I don't know if players have been playing it. I have no intel on that. But, you know, we're liking on the AP jungler department.
Oh, that would be cool. Maybe even cheeky top lane pick. Who knows? Anyway, we have today 2 organizations with partly Spanish roots facing off. And earlier this week, we also saw the Vodafone Giants lift the title as the Spanish champions. And I am joined to talk about that final and the season with LVP caster Noah for our ERL check-in. Hola, Noah. How are you?
Hola, how are you? I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's awesome to have you. Of course, you just came off a fantastic final over there in Spain. Can you give us the TLDR? Which were the teams in attending, and what was your champion like?
We had our finals this Thursday, and it was Vodafone Giants versus UGAM, which was quite unexpected because we're finals between the 5th qualified and the 6th qualified. That was definitely a surprise, but they were both teams that struggled in regular season due to external factors. So maybe it's not that strange that once they overcame those difficulties, they smashed everyone in playoffs.
And can you tell me, for the Vodafone Giants, then, the new champions, what was their play style? With what strategy did they win those finals against UGAM?
New champions, but actually this is their 7th trophy in Spain, so this is a powerhouse, definitely. And they are all about the front to back hyper carries on Attila, like in the good old times, and also Antonio playing an incredible tanks as per usual. Also, I want to talk about their rookie jungler 113, because you better keep an eye on this one. He played an amazing run at playoffs.
Okay, so this might be the new El Yoya next year. Who knows?
Everywhere.
Maybe. Well, then talk to me about the EU Masters. Of course, a lot of hope and pressure, I think, on the shoulders of the Spanish representatives and the Movistar riders starting in play-ins. What are your expectations for that?
Movistar Riders was actually the favorite to win the Superliga, so it's up to have them in the plane of the European Masters. Max Lord played the split in Ultra Instinct mode, so I think they're going to deliver when needed, but it's the same with Giants and UCAM. UCAM reached semifinal versus Cape Corp in the last European Masters, and they have some of the most underrated players in the whole ERL environment. I have no doubts with these 3 teams on the European Masters that is going to be ours.
Oh, I love it. The strong confidence. I also wanted to just ask you about the finals and the broadcast. This split overall, the content was top notch, and the finals was again in an offline situation. There were no fans, but did it feel nice to be back in kind of that environment where you felt like you were in an arena with all of the enthusiasm?
It was like so strange after all this time having the finals online, but it was definitely so good. At least watching the players lifting the trophy in the LAN, I really miss this so much.
I can understand that. Final question maybe, Noah, ¿podemos esperar un otro rap o canción por apoyar los equipos españoles en EU Masters o no?
A ver, yo creo que ya hemos usado la carta trampa de la canción para el hype de la final española, pero sería muy guay hacer algo todas las RLs, la verdad, así para hypear el European Masters. Quién sabe si el año que viene.
Okay, hopefully so. For translation for the people who don't speak Spanish, the Spanish crew, they made a fantastic rap video, Ready Pato, which you can just watch on YouTube again as well. It's really awesome. Noah's killing it. Thank you so much, Noah, and good luck. You're smashing it over there in Spain.
Thank you so much. Your Spanish is getting better and better.
I'm doing my best. Okay, and your English is also phenomenal. We could chat forever, but production is telling me we have to move on. Congrats to everyone there in the Superliga. Oh no, we can keep talking, Kevin? Really? Okay. All right, Noah, quick prediction. Mad versus G2?
I'm on the Mad Lions side, I guess. They always deliver in the playoffs, but I predicted Mad Lions in a Spanish broadcast. G2 is also very loved here in Spain, but I think I'm on the Mad Lions ship this time.
Okay, love it. Thank you very much, Noah. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. So we're going to turn our attention now to the LEC Summer Playoffs. As said, cheeky prediction from Noah, but the Mad Lions and G2 fight for a shot at Rogue and a spot at Worlds 2021.
It's Mad Lions that defeats G2, and it's Mad Lions that qualify for their first ever final.
It doesn't matter who won it last time. It just matters if you can win it this time again.
He turns it in an instant, and if he gets nothing, he has to just walk away. It was all eyes on the Cassia, but Fnatic now they're just running for the hills. Humanoid, absolutely unkillable.
What we can reach is higher than any other team. I think we're capable of beating anyone.
But there's the shockwave, and I'm sorry, Vitality, but there's no way you live through that. Self-made dives back in, but that's a triple kill for Humanoid.
I'm hungry to beat them, but I don't think they're gonna pose the biggest threat to us for lifting the trophy.
Now the turn from Wonder, the rocket grab's gonna go, and he hooks Hansama. The knockup is there. What champion can this man play?
Well, this time around we're not waiting for loser bracket to start preparing.
Laser finds its man, and the Mad Lions have been neutered. Jankos hits Armor. Reckless goes into the 2v2, and that is it. G2 win the fight. It is all G2 all the time.
Mad Lions versus G2, a growing rivalry in the LEC. They're about to play their 5th best of 5 versus each other, and the score is 2-2 so far. Dylan, it's been really a pleasure to see how this rivalry has grown over the last 2 years.
I think this has to be one of my favorite matchups in all of the LEC when it comes to playoffs. Mad Lions' very first split is when they famously came into the LEC and just beat G2 when it was a massive, massive upset in playoffs. So that was like their first time they played. And in the last split had to be probably one of the weirdest BO5s I have ever seen, where Reckless locked in Karma ADC for 2 out of the 3 games. And then later in the series, it looked like they really did not have the Thresh combos prepared. And G2 just lost when at the time they were pretty heavy favorites.
I think we also need to mention, you know, the fired up younger squad that's coming out from Mad Lions. We talked to Reckless a little bit in the PGL back then about how do you feel when, you know, all these players were so hungry coming for your spot. And he's like, I have to perform even better right now. So all the veterans of G2, they have to prove that, you know, they have stepped up even more. Yes, they've reached that level, but you have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing because the guys from Mad Lions will run you over otherwise.
And you can say it the way it is. They did not perform in the spring playoffs with the superstar roster, with the gambit they made for Reckless Trouble. What is your level of trust in the best of 5 capacity and capabilities of G2 after their second half of the split, which was much better than the first?
I think they're extremely creative and they have managed to turn around the plays, the way they play the game. I feel like G2 is a team that can play from every single side of the map wherever they decide to. And now, of course, again, it goes down to Reckless. He brought out the Kalista. It's like, you tell me I can't play it, I'll show you that I can. So they keep on pushing into the Rift more and more and more threats.
For the side of Mad Lions, then, Dylan, constantly evolving, and I think got a lot of criticism fairly for a lot of their split after winning the championship and after MSI. Where do you think they're at right now?
I think they've been definitely struggling a bit this split. Although they did pick it up in the later half of the summer split, I do feel like, at least from an overall play style and drafting perspective, I really haven't seen what I see as like a defined look and style they would want to play. And I would really like it to see them come in today with like a solid template, something I can feel like they can consistently win games in playoffs with.
Yeah, I think that would be most important. Also, they had a new addition to their staff because as they started to pick up speed in the second half, Mad Lions for playoffs are getting some help from an old friend.
Thank you, Sjokz and Chachi. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really happy to see you back again in the studio. It's been since 2019, I think, since we saw you the last time. So I saw that you started streaming again, picking up competition. You joined Mad Lions now for playoffs. Tell me about it. How did it happen?
Yes, this 1.5 year of break that I took after ending the split with Splice, I used it to like figure out what I actually want to do and tried out some different stuff that I always wanted. And in the meantime, I kind of regained my passion towards the game, and then I started playing again and streaming a bit as well, as you said. And it felt very nice that on my first stream, almost 2,000 people came to watch me. It was just such a heartwarming, like, welcoming back feeling. And I was like, yes, I will keep doing this. And now I'm back at it with full passion. And with this Mad Lions offer, it's like the best opportunity for me to get back into like this LEC area and see a bit more of how the competitive scene actually looks, because just solo queue is not enough, I think.
Yeah, it can be nerve-wracking, but it's also, again, very happy to see you again, and we hope that you will stay in the competition, but now you're here as a positional coach, which is something we see more and more with teams, but I'm unsure. What does it mean, really? Do you do 1v1 against Armut? How do you help him?
Yeah, it also included some 1v1s, but it's mostly about focusing on him during the scrims, watching every single move he makes, every single move his opponent makes. So it's basically just specifying myself on this player and just watching whatever he does, looking at macro moves as well later on. But I think Armut is kind of like a very good and fully developed player already. So like with the macro decisions and stuff like that, he doesn't need any help. So we are mainly focusing on like the laning decisions and matchups. So that's where I try to help him out.
All right, and it must give you a different look at the coaching position now. How is it different from when you were a pro player in terms of
it's actually completely different. Just watching from the backstage and listening to the players, and I'm like, it would be nice to play as well, but just having this outside perspective, it's actually very interesting as well for me to see, because I have never really been in like the backstage together with the coaches, listening to the input they have and just analyzing the game together. That's something else as well, and it's also a very good opportunity for me to experience this side as well. It's very nice.
Well, I'm very interested in seeing how it will change for Armut, especially going here today against G2.
Smash one there.
I have to ask though, did you teach him the secret arcanes of Puppy top lane, and is there any chance we might see the champion?
That's a secret. That's a secret, but we might.
We might. Well, thank you for the insight. Thank you again so much for the interview. Good luck today against G2.
Thank you very much.
And back to you.
Thank you so much, Lo, and we're definitely going to have to keep an eye out on that top lane to see if any secrets leak during the series. But most importantly, I feel like for G2, the bot lane of the map is just very, very, very important. And I just wanted to highlight how at the start of the split, G2 played against the Kalista and then how they adapted into playing the Kalista themselves. So just to set the scene right now, as you can see, I'm going to bring the minimap up for just a little bit. You see that Sjokz is all the way towards the bot side of the map. And the reason for that is because if you can see the summoners right here, we have both Hansama and Trimby sitting on 0 summoners whatsoever. So as you can see again, Sjokz is all the way up here. He's waiting for the lantern from Mickey X to try and make a play on a summonerless bot from Rogue. So Rogue doesn't necessarily have to do anything, they just have to wait for the wave to push at them, but a really beautiful hook from Mickey onto Trimby will punish the support. Now the very important thing is that look at that gigantic wave that G2 is crashing onto, again, a summonerless Kalista that is all alone on the bot side of the map. What technically G2 wants to do here is deprive Hansama's Kalista off of farm, gold, and very importantly, experience. So if I keep playing that, Sjokz sticks around bot lane, Reckless stops Hansama from walking anywhere near that wave, and here's where the magic happens for G2. And I'm saying magic as just about Caps is about to get ganked, but the important thing is that he does not die. He flashes away from Inspired coming at him, and now here is the magic. If you see down here, a beautiful hook again from Mickey takes the cleanse off of Hansama, and because Inspired is mid lane, Sjokz pulls the trigger for another dive. What does that mean? That means that Reckless comes out of this particular trade with 3 kills to his name, making sure that this Varus is much stronger than the Kalista before Kalista even leaves lane. And that's just a way that G2 like to play and like to suffocate playing against a Kalista. The story becomes much, much different when G2 plays the Kalista. Now, this is a very, very clever play, actually, starting from the Mad Lions. And if I bring up their minimap, what they want to do is they want to force Sjokz out of his jungle towards the top side of the map, and they want to split the map in half so Sjokz cannot play for his bot lane. Very clever play, very late invade right here from Mad. Sjokz will have to be forced outside of his jungle, but the G2 bot lane had different plans. As Kai'Sa and Kazi move towards the bot side of the map, the G2 bot lane decide to fight them. And even though this trade initially ends up on a 1-for-1. Yes, Reckless gets 1 kill, but Kazi gets another. The very important thing to notice right here on the map, if I open it, is that Elyoya made his way out of Jankos' jungle, which means that he didn't empty it and Jankos had the farm available to him. Another one right here. You see Caps, he's back in on the map. He's only level 5. He doesn't have his ultimate available yet. He will pull the trigger for the TP down bot lane. They'll shove in the wave underneath again Kai'Sa and Kai'Sa's tower, and they will pull the dive with Caps' teleport, again, only level 5. And yes, this will end up being a 1-for-1 trade again, but the kill, where does it go? It goes to Reckless's Kalista. So, ding, 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 they've got what they came for. Now, the last part is, yeah, okay, Trouble, but you talked about so much attention, like Caps going bot lane, Jankos going bot lane. Sure, they're playing for the Kalista. This is where G2 decides to shove in the wave and actually roam the Kalista all the way to mid lane, where guess what? Humanoid dies because he just doesn't have his flash available to him. So they sneak through past all of the vision that Mad Lions have set for themselves, and they manage to get another kill onto Humanoid. You know what? You know who gets the kill? Reckless gets the kill. So I find the fact that they're so multi-dimensional, the fact that they can play for the Kalista, they can roam the Kalista, they can suffocate the Kalista. There's just so many multiple threats that they're throwing at their opponents that if you don't have a set plan on how to punish it, it can be really hard to play versus G2.
The bot lane is going to be the lane to watch also with Carzzy versus Reckless. I do also quickly, we don't have a lot of time, Dylan, talk about the jungle mid synergies between these two. Where do you think the emphasis is going to lie from both sides for Humanoid and Elyoya versus Jankos and Caps?
If I'm on G2 side, the main thing I want activity and proactivity from my mid-jungle combo. I think TF probably will be first picked or banned. I think LeBlanc combo is very good. Just anything that can let Caps be active and influence the map. As for the side of Mad Lions, they've been a bit more versatile on what they play. They fall back on mage play a lot of the time, but they also have been playing some of the more aggressive combos like Lucian, etc. So I'm interested to see what they will be playing as well.
We've covered all of the lanes. I think maybe we haven't talked too much about the supports, but they're used to that. Hopefully they'll give us a show. Let's get your predictions. G2 or Mad Trouble?
People have been asking me what is an upset when it comes to spring champions versus multi title champions, right? And I feel like it depends on what lens you look at it at. If you're a Mad fan, yes, beating Mad today would be an upset. If you're a G2 fan, yes, beating G2 would be a G2 upset. I think that G2 are a lot more versatile in the way they want to play the game, and I agree with Dylan. He said Mad have not necessarily found that key type of play they want to continue playing and win with, so I'll give it to G2, but I want all 5 games 3-2.
3-2, Dylan?
I really believe in G2's reformed approach to the game in the second half of Split, so I have to give it to them 3-1.
Okay, 2 G2 votes. I don't know. Discord said 3-0 for G2, so we'll see about that. Now, in spring, we saw the dawn of a new era in the LEC, but in summer, the old champions are looking to reclaim the throne. One way or the other, this series is a sign of what's to come.